Who doesn't love Scooby Doo? He's been around since 1969 and he has been a childhood classic for many people. And there has been a lot of series with Scooby and the gang. So I've decided that I'm going to go through them all and rank every villain from every Scooby Doo show. But today we're going to start with Scooby Doo, Where Are You? But first, before we get into it, I'm going to give a little synopsis of the episode, and then I'm going to be talking about the villain and then my thoughts on every episode. And I'm going to be rating them out of Scooby snacks. There's going to be 5 Scooby snacks, 5 being the best, 1 being I didn't really like it that much. And this list is my opinion, but I would love to hear yours in the comments below. That would be cool to hear. And spoilers ahead, I guess. But without any further interruptions, let's get into the video. What a night for a night. The gang are off to the museum after Shaggy and Scooby find an abandoned truck with the armour of the Black Knight Ghost in it, and they return it and learn the legend of the Black Knight Ghost. The Black Knight Ghost being the first villain of the Scooby Doo franchise, I think it works very well because he's very eerie, and I love his legend of every full moon he comes to life. And it feels like some kind of wolfman, which there is a couple of in this video. His con's fun too, the way he's making dupes of artwork to sell the original. This episode's a very good start, but it does get overlooked when we start looking at a lot more of the season. But it's a good start and a very middle of the road episode. I'm going to give it 2 Scooby snacks. A clue for Scooby Doo. The gang are having a beach party when they get interrupted by the ghost of Captain Cutler. I really like Captain Cutler. He's hands down one of my favourite Scooby Doo villains of all time. I'm sure he was my first intro to Scooby Doo and I've loved him ever since. He's a bit basic, he's just a diving suit that glows green. But I love his growl and his music is horrifying. They use it for other monsters, but when I hear it, I'm like, oh, that's Captain Cutler. I also like the plan of him stealing boats and giving them a makeover. I love this episode. It is very nostalgic to me, but I am a bit biased. But still, I think it's a bit basic. If it didn't have Captain Cutler in it and wasn't by the sea, I would think it would be a bit lower. But I think it's an iconic episode just for Captain Cutler. I'm going to give it 4 Scooby snacks. Hassle in the Castle. The gang gets lost in a fog and ends up on Haunted Isles. They see a castle, so they go up looking for help, but the castle is haunted by a ghost. The Phantom's a bit bad, he's just some dude in a sheet being a ghost, but I do like the part where he is unmasked and you find out that he's a wanted ex-magician. I also like his name, Bluestone the Great. When rewatching this episode for this video, I have completely forgot about it. It's just a bit boring, and the only thing I really like is the end part, where he shows the gang that he's using cameras? Mirrors? I don't know, but see, that's how boring this episode is. I'm going to give it 2 Scooby snacks. Mind your own business. The gang get lost and end up in a ghost town that is haunted by the miner. I really grew to enjoy Miner 49er. I love his basic design. I also love when they unmask him and he's just some tiny old man that uses stilts to look ginormous. But I do find it really funny his plan to be looking for oil underneath this hotel and scare people away. But we find out later on that his friend would have helped him drill and find the oil without scaring off people. It's just really goofy. Before rewatching it for this video, I didn't really like it, but now rewatching it, I'm starting to come around to it. And now that I've recorded this, I've watched it a couple more times, and I just really like this episode. I love his plan. The miner is great. The only thing that's bad about this episode is the location, because I'm not really into the cowboy aesthetic. I'm gonna give it 3 Scooby snacks. Decoy for a dog napper. The gang finds out dogs are getting kidnapped, and they use Scooby as bait and find out that a witch doctor is stealing them. Even the witch doctor is boring, but the only thing I really liked about him was his mask, but his whole plan of stealing dogs is pretty bland for a Scooby Doo villain. I don't like this episode. This episode is just boring. I don't like the location. The only thing I like is the witch doctor. He's pretty much meh, to be honest, but I don't ever want to watch this episode again. I'm gonna give it 1 Scooby snack. What the hex is going on? The gang are off to go see a friend, but when they arrive, the ghost of Kingston has come back to the mansion and started turning people into stone. So it's up to Scooby and the gang to solve what's going on. I like the villain. I like the villain. He's pretty haunting with his blue skin and the way he can hex people using his voice. That's pretty much all I like about him. His design's creepy and his power to age people is pretty cool. But other than that, there's really nothing. I like the mansion. It's the mansion from the intro. The part of this episode I don't really like is when Scooby turns into a fortune teller, because it kind of slows down the ending. But it's not that bad. I like the ghost and it's pretty okay. I'm going to give it 2 Scooby snacks. Never Ape and Ape Man. The gang are extras in a movie directed by Daphne's uncle, and he needs their help because the rest of the cast has quit because the legend of the Ape Man has returned. I really like the Ape Man. He's a stupid villain, but I find it really fun that his plan is to shut down the production because he wasn't the main lead. And I just find it really petty because he goes from having a job to trying to kill the lead actress. It's just really petty. The thing that lets this episode down for me is when they find out who the Ape Man is, because Shaggy picks up a camera and takes a picture of him. But I also love the location of this episode. It's on a film set and it's just really cool. I'm going to give it 3 Scooby snacks. Foul play in Funland. The gang are on the beach getting clams when a nearby fairground lights come on. So they decide to investigate, but there is no one there running it. Charlie is a very terrifying villain. He's a robot, but not only that, a robot that is malfunctioning. And that's not the only thing, he's silent. Like any other villain, laughs and growls, but Charlie doesn't make a sound. Like that could have been Scooby. This episode for me really depends on what mood I'm in, because sometimes I like it and sometimes I don't. Because when I was rewatching it for this video, I liked it, but as I was writing, I just started to like dislike it. But Charlie saves it for me. I'm gonna give it 3 Scooby snacks. The backstage rage. The gang investigate a puppet theatre after Shaggy and Scooby find a violin case full of money. I really like the Puppet Master, this being my first real watch while making this video. I think he's very creepy, especially when he turns the doorman into a puppet. But even his design makes him look like a drippy Phantom of the Opera. I didn't really watch this episode before making this video. It's creepy, and I'm also scared of puppets, so they like kind of freak me out. I can just imagine if I would have been where Shaggy and Scooby Doo were, I wouldn't want to go in either. I'm going to give it 4 Scooby snacks. Bedlam in the Big Top. The gang are on the road when they come across a strong man and a little man running away from the circus because it's getting haunted by a ghost clown. I love the ghost clown, he's an icon. I think he is the reason I dislike clowns. He's so creepy and his hypnotic powers are terrifying, making the gang doing all of these deadly stunts. Like Shaggy could have died then. And I think the ghost clown is one of the greatest Scooby Doo villains ever. I absolutely love this episode, from the setting of the circus to the iconic villain. It's always a treat putting this episode on. If you haven't seen it, you need to. I love this episode so much. I'm going to give it 5 Scooby snacks. A gaggle of galloping ghosts. The gang are at Franken Castle to look around, but they don't know that Frankenstein, Dracula and the Wolfman are still inhabiting the castle. I love these classic movie monsters, but these ones have their own little Scooby-Doo spin on the character. The monster I like the most is Dracula, but it's just because he's a lot more menacing than the others. Like Frankenstein's big, but that's really it, and there's a better werewolf in a later episode. They're all pretty forgettable. This episode's meh for me. I'm really trying hard to find something that's good about it other than the villains, but it's just really forgettable. I don't really like it, but I do like the design of the monsters. I'm gonna give it one Scooby snack. Scooby Doo and the Mummy 2. The gang go see an ancient mummy that has a curse on it, but they have to return back to the university after Shaggy accidentally put the mummy's coin in his pocket, and they find out that the mummy has come back to life. I remember watching this episode when I was little, and I loved it back then, and I love it now. But I only love it because of the mummy. He's very creepy, only saying... And he also turns people into stone, which I find very funny when he does it to Scooby. Other than the mummy, this episode is very fun. I especially like the part where Shaggy and Scooby find the professor. Yeah, it's a fun episode, but there isn't really much to it than any other regular episode. I'm gonna give it 3 Scooby snacks. Which is which? The gang are coming home from a fishing trip, and they go through a shortcut through the swamp, which they find out is haunted by a zombie and a witch. With this episode, I didn't like the witch because there is better witches in the rest of the Scooby-Doo series. But I do like the zombie. He looks dumb but menacing. But I think he looks more like a ghoul than a zombie. This episode's a bit meh for me, but I do like the swamp. But like I said, there has been better witches. Actually, one thing I really like is the reason they're haunting the swamp is to try and find an old bank truck with a metal stick. I'm gonna give it 2 Scooby snacks. Go away, ghost ship. The gang go investigate after a bunch of freighters go missing. They read in the newspaper they are getting raided by Redbeard's ghost and his crew. Redbeard's ghost, he's okay. I don't really think about him, and he's somewhat forgettable. I do want to like him though, because he looks cool and he looks very threatening. This episode is very mixed for me. I like the pirate aesthetic, and the same with Scooby-Doo on the water, so I should like it. But I feel if I watch it more, it could change, but that's why it's on the low end of this list. But I do want to revisit this video at some point, so let's see if it does change. I'm gonna give it 2 Scooby snacks. Spooky Space Coupe. The gang are driving down a country road when they run out of gas, and a farmer comes out and tells them not to go next to the airship because there is a ghost of an alien that haunts it. The Space Cook has really grown on me. When I was little, I didn't really like him, but only very recently I've started to enjoy him more. He's so haunting. I love his cackle. It's a little bit goofy sometimes, but I still like it. I also love his design. His color scheme is amazing. He's a very good villain. Another episode I didn't like before making this video, but like Mind Your Own Business, this has grown on me. I really like the airship setting too. It feels like it's been abandoned and it's in the middle of nowhere. I'm going to give it 5 Scooby snacks. A night of fright is no delight. The gang go to the Colonel's mansion for a will reading that Scooby is in for saving the Colonel's life, but on only one condition: they stay there for the night in this haunted mansion. I think the Green Ghosts are one of the best iconic Scooby-Doo villains. I love their design, and I love how spooky they feel, and their evil laughs are just so horrifying. Even their little chain rattle, and I would call them the best Scooby-Doo villain. I think this is the most iconic episode of Scooby-Doo ever, and I just adore it. I really enjoy the plot in this one. It's very eerie, and also this is the episode that has the supernatural crossover, which I think is one of the best Scooby-Doo crossovers, and they couldn't have picked a better episode to cross over with. I'm going to give it 5 Scooby snacks. That's Snow Ghost. The gang are on a skiing trip that gets interrupted by the Snow Ghost. The Snow Ghost is a very fun villain. I really like him, and his plan's pretty fun too. He smuggles jewels, but he can also fly. When you find out that he uses see-through plastic skis to fly, it's just funny. It's so cheesy, but that's what I love about Scooby-Doo. I love this episode. I used to watch it all the time when I was little, and I think this is what really gave me my current fixation with Scooby-Doo, and me coming back to the series after being away from it for so long. But I bought the 13 Spooky Tales Holiday Chills thing, and it's on that episode with like a bunch of snow episodes, and it also gave me the idea to start this YouTube channel. I'm going to give it 4 Scooby Snacks. So that's the end of season 1. Also, if you've got this far, if you wouldn't mind leaving a like on this video, I would appreciate it. Thank you. Now on season 2, and I'm looking forward to the season because I think it's got a lot better stories than season 1, but season 1 has the more iconic monsters. But also this season adds chase music, which I really love, and I've been singing it all through me writing, recording, and editing this video. I just love them. So let's get back into the ranking. Nowhere to Hide. The gang are off home when they see a ghost of Hyde going to a spooky house, and they go and investigate. I love when Scooby Doo uses old classic movie monsters like the Mummy or Dracula, but this one is no different. I like the Ghost of Hyde. I really like the story that they did with this one, making it an ancestor of Dr. Jekyll, who is also cursed with being Hyde, and he uses this to become a jewel thief, and it's very fun. I like the atmosphere in this episode, and the Jekyll's mansion is really good at making that atmosphere creepy, especially the attic. But I also love Helga in this episode. She is the misdirect, because this ancestor of Dr. Jekyll is trying to frame her for the robberies. It's just really scummy, I think. I'm gonna give it 3 Scooby Snacks. Mystery Mask Mix-Up. This episode has the same problem all the other episodes do when the villain has a minion like Zentuo. Like, he's good and menacing, but I feel like his minions are the ones that really do anything. But I do like the part where Shaggy tries to outsmart him.
You don't scare us, Zentuo! Go on, I dare you to cross the line, but I warn you, I know judo, chop suey, and Chinese checkers. Well, how about this line?
And I like his mask too. And another episode that I'm really nostalgic for, but I'm not letting that change my mind because this is an okay episode. I like the setting of Chinatown, and I really like the car chase scene. It's really fun, but the rest of this episode's just okay. I'm gonna give it 2 Scooby Snacks. Scooby's Night with a Frozen Fry. The gang are surfing when Scooby finds a block of ice with a caveman in it, and they take it to Ocean World, leave, and then come back. The ice is melted and the caveman has come back to life. I think the caveman is a bit underrated because no one talks about him, but I think he's pretty cool. I like his design. He's very tall and he looks like he's from the Stone Age. I also like why he becomes the caveman because I think it's very valid because he's trying to get recognition for an invention that he got stole from him. I like this episode. It's really fun and the setting is an aquarium and it's weird for a fish out of water story, but I think it handles it well, and it's pretty goofy, and it's really the reason I watch Scooby Doo. I'm gonna give it 3 Scooby Snacks. Jeepers, it's the Creeper. The gang are at a school dance in a barn that gets interrupted by the Creeper. The Creeper is a pretty iconic villain, and it's because he's a really good villain. He's one of the creepiest that we've come across so far. The way he makes the gang run away from him makes them feel like the Creeper is gonna hurt them. This episode's mood is very on brand with the villain. It's a very creepy atmosphere and it's very horror-like. I really like it. But also, when I was little, I thought that he was saying Creeper when he was walking around, but I didn't know till rewatching it on Blu-ray with the subtitles on. He was saying paper. So for my entire life before this video, I thought he was saying Creeper, which I feel is better, to be honest. I'm gonna give it 3 Scooby Snacks. Haunted House Hang-Up. The gang are off to a rock festival when they take a shortcut to get there quicker. When the mystery machine runs out of gas outside of an old mansion, go looking for some help and come across the Headless Spectre. I love the Headless Spectre, but what makes him pretty meh is that he's the one that's not really a villain. The real villain is like a phony phantom, and he's just a guy in a bedsheet with an axe. But I do like how the Headless Spectre is just trying to find his inheritance, and the Scooby Gang help him find it and bust the actual phony phantom. Another one of my favourite Scooby Doo episodes. I just really enjoy the Headless Spectre, but I love how it kind of changes the status quo, and it makes this episode feel fresh and takes like Scooby Doo into like a new direction. I'm gonna give it 4 Scooby Snacks. A tiki scare is no fair. The gang are on holiday in Hawaii when they get interrupted by a witch doctor that warns them about the wrath of an old god coming back. Season 2 has a lot of great villains, but this witch doctor isn't one. He isn't creepy, and I didn't like him that much. But he does have a better plan than the other witch doctor. Instead of stealing dogs, he steals the pearls from the native people, and I find it more villainous than stealing a dog to win a dog show. This is my first time watching it for this video, and I just didn't really like this episode. It's a bit boring, but I do like this witch doctor more than I like the other one. And this also doesn't have a chase song in it. It's the only one from season 2 that doesn't. But when I was watching this episode, I kept seeing the transition that was just a solid colour green, and it kind of threw me off. But I didn't realise it was in other episodes of season 2 till I was recording this video. I'm going to give it 2 Scooby Snacks. Who's afraid of a big bad werewolf? The gang are camping when they hear a howling coming from an abandoned sawmill, so they go investigate it and come across a wolf man. I really like this werewolf more than I did the other one. This one has more screen time, and he also looks better than that one. But I also really like the sawmill, and I like his plan that he was an underground sheep smuggler. It's another episode of Scooby Doo that has a really fun villain and a fun premise. I also did notice the green transition again in this episode, but this episode's creepy and a bit goofy with the sheep smuggling, but I really enjoyed it. I'm going to give it 4 Scooby Snacks. Don't fool with a phantom. The gang are on a dating show that gets interrupted by a wax phantom, so they go investigate the phantom, and at a nearby wax museum they find the sculptor that vowed revenge. For how haunting this episode is, the wax phantom isn't, but I did like the part where he first appears and it flashes and then it goes back into darkness. I really liked it. And I like the story idea that he was there to vow revenge. Another first time watch for this video, but I couldn't believe how creepy it was when I first watched it. I especially loved the sculptor. He was really haunting with his grey skin. It made him really look terrifying. And this is a very spooky episode. I can't wait to rewatch it. I'm gonna give it 3 Scooby Snacks. So that's it done. So now let's get back onto the ranking. Tier 1, The Witch Doctor, Frankenstein, The Wolfman and Dracula. Tier 2, The Ghost of Elias Kingston, The Witch Doctor, The Ghost of Redbeard, The Witch and the Zombie, Phantom, Zentuo, The Black Knight Ghost. Tier 3, The Wax Phantom, The Ghost of Hyde, The Mummy, Charlie the Robot, The Ape Man, Minor 49, The Caveman, The Creeper. Tier 4, The Puppet Master, A Werewolf, The Snow Ghost, Captain Cutler, The Headless Spectre. Tier 5, The Green Ghost, The Space Kook, The Ghost Clown. I love how this ranking is looking, but I love that season 2's monsters, like a ton of them, are up like the top because I really did enjoy season 2. It was a fun season. So this has been my first YouTube video. I'm pretty glad I decided to make it on Scooby Doo because I've been enjoying him for like a year now, and I just wanted to like make a channel and talk about Scooby Doo and some other things that I've got planned in the future. But if you want to check that out, you could subscribe to keep up to date with all my content.